Okay, so really excited to put together hopefully a short video here. We've got Pedram from SecDim,
Hey guys.
Phil and Stas from AttackForge.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
So you guys are working on, as far as I know, industry first collaboration here. Really interesting product and problem that you're looking to solve. So hopefully we can delve a little bit deeper, share some information about that and see what you guys are actually up to.
Yeah, sure. I think Phil, Stas, we both of started working together almost like 15 years ago. I think we know each other back in a StratSec / BAE system applied intelligence, and where I was a team lead for Sydney and offices there. We worked with Phil on quite a lot of Pentest projects and secure code review projects. That's pretty much when it started to know about each other.
I'm looking at that 10 on your jacket there. So we're talking over 10 years ago, aren't we?
Yeah, this is our
Yes.
anniversary jacket. So yeah, it's been a long time, getting grayer by the day, but
So on that note, why did you create AttackForge and SecDim? Obviously separate businesses here, but why did you create your own companies in the first place?
We long time ago, 10 years, we pioneered the first ever Pentest Management Platform. Core idea of AttackForge was to create a place where security engineering and business teams can actually collaborate on pen testing to find vulnerabilities and fix them faster.
I mean, for SecDim was a slightly different angle. I was running for over 8 years developer security training, working with the engineers, and I mean back previous to that, doing pen testing, again working closely with engineers and like really seeing the knowledge gap between the security industry and the engineering industry in all different levels. And it also miscommunication, a lot of them between the security teams and engineering teams. We didn't necessarily understood the same concept, the same thing, but it seems like we can't really communicate it well. So that kind of drew me back to where, well, we need to do something about this and to fill in the gap and hopefully, we build more secure products.
Awesome. So you're running two different businesses, two different focus areas on the industry. How did this collaboration, integration actually come around in the first place?
It's a bit of a interesting or kind of a painful story for me when it started, but not on a collaboration side, but more like a health side where it was nearly August last year, where I was about to enter a surgery theater for my broken wrist. And Ouch. I knew that surgery gonna be painful as I talked with my surgeon. So I was looking for things to distract myself, and interesting ideas came in interesting times. And like one of the idea that we will talk later about it, the sandboxes, the whole thing came around that, yeah, we need to do something about this. And again, during similar time after that, I was accepted to speak at Black Hat Arsenal. And I was looking around to see, what I can get information around this for this presentation. And what the thing was, I saw this Phil's video recording on Black Hat website. And I was like, I know this guy. Let me reach out to him. And effectively, that's how it started. I reached out to Phil and Stas, like, hey guys, I saw your video, give me some advice. And yeah.
We kind of started showing each other each a bit of show and tell. We were showing each other each other's platforms, and we almost had this mutual light bulb moment where we were like, oh man, it would be amazing if we could actually combine the two systems together. And so that kind of set off on a conversation back in about September last year. And we've been really collaborating on this integration since then. So it's been a long time, but we're really excited to actually finally have this out, and we can really get it out to the world and start solving some problems.
So you, instead of, I guess, in this full life cycle here, you guys are one end and Pedram, you're at the other end. It's really helping collaborate and trying to bridge that gap.
Yeah, so I mean, there's really nothing more frustrating and costly for for penetration testing, security teams, and business stakeholders than seeing the same vulnerabilities coming back in
Again and again.
applications after year and again and again. It's 2024. There's vulnerabilities like SQL, injection, XSS. They're still in the top 10 since practically the top 10's existed. Annual security code training, code scanning, it definitely helps, but it's not as much as needed, and it's kind of evident with the problems we're still seeing. So really something there needs to be done to help the engineers not to make those same mistakes.
Yes, I mean, it was interesting also hearing from like field around that they still, because they are pretty much into seeing all these issues from large, big enterprises out there. And again, after this many years, they're still coming to the same point that, hey, well, we haven't got rid of these issues. And so that's kind of reassuring for the things that I'm seeing from the other side, that you see this lack of communication, you see this lack of engagement. Usually the workflow is that there is a Pentest report that is passed around in an organization. And usually it will, some of those information around the issues being extracted and will passed on to the teams that are in charge of fixing the issue. But I think we never ask ourselves, hey, is that description of the issue, is that recommendation that is provided, is it enough for this engineering team to go to a prod code and fix it? Guess what? It's not, because if we really understand how engineer learns, or how engineers they really go and find the root causes of a problem, we will see that that way of communicating is ineffective, and the results of these resurfacing vulnerabilities just tells us that.
First time ever. Again, this never been done before in the industry. We've taken security learning and made it available within the context of an existing vulnerability on a real asset. Not only do they see the evidence of the vulnerability and the recommendations, which normally come with the pen test, but at that point, they can actually deploy a private sandbox for that exact vulnerability on demand, and they can learn about that vulnerability. They can try and patch it. And all of this happens without impacting any of their existing production systems. So they can literally click a button and say, I want to play with this vulnerability that was found in my system. So what this really does, it takes really learning and training to the next level, because it makes it very relevant to the engineer, because we're talking about real vulnerabilities in their own assets. So the other benefit there is security and engineering teams can actually collaborate and work together on a patch for the vulnerability in a secure, safe environment that they have access to. And all of this happens, again, on demand when they need it.
Yeah, I think second that relevancy, because it's like one of the key things I've seen it over the years, that anytime if there is a class or that there are engineers, software architect there, and then I'm talking about a security issue, and I start saying that, hey, this security issue actually happened in the organization that you work with, you get everyone's attention, and that because they feel it's right at home, like this issue actually happens. And I think that's one of the key benefits that AttackForge has, that they have that amazing information around, well, effectively what is a problem. You don't want to, then you don't get bored to your engineers with encyclopedia of all the possible security issues that they should be aware of. I would even argue that they shouldn't know about everything. That's effectively a security guy's job. They should know about those things that really happens to them on a regular basis. And the other part, which I think the relevance is key, the other part is more on the engagement side. Again, doing a security training is one thing, or whether the engineers will take that and apply it in their code is another thing. And that boils down whether we have engaged them in a security concept, whether the engineers see security as a software engineering problem.
Mm.
And to make that engagement happening, that's why we translated everything into a code. And that sandbox that Phil was mentioning is an environment where is actually a real app, which has that sample vulnerability. it been given to them in an environment where they can do whatever they want with it. But the key part is that that environment comes with attacker test cases. So an engineer can go and see how an attacker will go after exploiting this issue. Again, for engineers, they don't talk about attackers, things like that. They talk about edge cases that happens to a program. They're like, oh, I never thought about this edge case. Let me go back to the code again in that environment, think about what patches I can put in place, and again, run the test again. Would that fix the problem? If so, okay, I got the learning, I got the understanding. I know how to approach this to address the root cause and apply this in their prod system.
Yeah, and ultimately, all of that solves that big problem we have of, resurfacing vulnerabilities. The more engineers understand what is the root cause of the problem and how to fix it in a native way that's relevant to their applications and systems, then ultimately that's going to help them prevent it from happening again. And and that's that. We security people as engineers as well, we complain about that same problem for years and years and years, but this truly is an innovative way to try and break through between security and engineering teams and try and tackle that problem from an angle that hasn't ever been tackled before.
It's hugely proactive.
Very,
yes.
very so, yeah.
That's the key component of it. Bring that training, that learning into the context that is immediately relevant to the engineer. Make it a challenge to engineer. You made this mistake. This is a challenge. Find it. Learn how to not to do it again immediately. Not on your annual training that will happen one day, sometime, maybe about things that are not directly relevant to the standard curriculum. Make it immediate and relevant right there. When you see that vulnerability on AttackForge, you learn how to fix it.
You've had this running already. So how's it going in terms of feedback and what's the response like?
Yeah. It's really exciting, Ricky. We've had this running now just for a little while. we just announced it. So it's in that time we've had some really big US financial companies trialing it, global tech companies, telecommunications companies. We've had big retailers. It's been very exciting. We've seen it talked about in Slack channels. We've seen it. I've had messages from customers pinging me for more details. It's been really exciting.
Yeah.
It's almost been a bit of a light bulb moment for customers, because as well, like for them, no one really expected to have that type of capability available in a Pentest Management Platform. And we're very lucky that there are amazing tools like SecDim that we can actually create a really amazing collaboration and partnership with.
I'm very excited for you guys.
Yeah, thank
you very much,
Ricky. We're really excited as well, and we're really hopeful this is going to solve a lot of problems for a lot of our customers.
Well, sounds like it's solving a few already. So good luck, and really looking forward to seeing how this goes over the coming weeks, months, and years ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Ricky.
Thank you, Ricky.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Ricky.
All right, thanks for your time, guys. Take care.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ricky. See you, mate. Bye.